Today we are about to watch some red flags that you shouldn't have ignored. Get right to the videos.
It's a red flag that you should not have ignored about someone you were dating.
We just met and he was already in love. And he wanted constant communication. He was so curious and so interested. What was I doing? Because he wanted to spend every minute with me, all of his time with me. He wanted to walk me to class. He wanted to know what I was doing, where I was going, who I was with, what I was wearing. All of it framed then within love bombing of like, oh,
Yeah,
you're just so
love
beautiful.
bombing.
You're just so perfect. I just care about you so much. I just want to know what you're doing and who you're with and making sure that you're safe and that you're okay.
Yeah.
Really, it was just all a
crazy.
disguise because he didn't trust me. He wanted to know where I was and if there were any other men around, and acting like, oh, I'm just too jealous. I love you so much and I'm just so obsessed with you that I couldn't even stand the thought of another man even wanting you.
No,
Coming from the
possessive.
guy who had another girlfriend.
Of course,
that I didn't
that's
know
what
about
always
at the time.
happens, eh?
If you feel like something's off, it is. Your intuition is correct.
Sometimes
What
they'll
is a
accuse
red
you
flag that
of what they're
you should not
doing
have ignored about someone you were dating?
because that's where their mind's gone, you know?
No, this isn't a red flag about somebody that I've dated. This is just a red flag in general
Okay.
that I want to give to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Now, firstly, I'm going to say this is a common thing among people with ASPD. Hello, ASPD. But it
that
doesn't mean the person
Asperger's?
has ASPD if they do this, okay? So,
Or is that
it just means that they're probably toxic. And
antisocial
this is
personality
a
disorder?
100%
Okay.
red flag.
So for like narcissism and that?
Questions or challenges your boundaries. Red flag. That means that they're trying to find loopholes to violate your boundaries.
Yeah, they should definitely never
Violating
cross your boundaries.
Well, it's your choice, but it's a red flag. It's your choice if you want to continue on, leave them, whatever. But once they find that weak point, continual violation.
What is a
Yeah,
red flag that
don't
you
let
should not have
someone-
ignored about someone you were dating?
Cross anything
When
you
I was
don't
in
want to
high
do,
school,
you don't
I
have to
dated
do.
this guy named Llewellyn, which honestly
Okay.
was the first red flag. I think I was 18 and he was 21, so I was still in high school and he was working at a restaurant near my high school. So when I was in high school, I had very debilitating social anxiety. And so I was
A lot
like
of people.
100% the weird kid. It was not a fun time for me, socially speaking. Whenever Llewellyn and I would go out to like a social event or something with friends that I had known before him, we would always have a great time. And whenever he would drop me off or we would go back to his place or my place, he would always confide in me that the people we were hanging with would talk shit about me behind
Oh
my
my
back.
God.
Like really nasty things. And at first I didn't confront these people because I just believed
Yeah.
him and I would just avoid these people in total. And it's only when I started to confront these people about some of the things Llewellyn was saying that they were saying about
They're
me,
like,
just because
no.
the magnitude
Well, of course they're gonna
people
say
who were
no,
saying
though.
these things became so large that I realized not only was he lying, but these people would also reveal to me that those were things he was saying about me to them.
Mm-hmm.
The gaslighting and social isolation got to a point where he would actually pick me up from wherever I was when we were going on a date or something and literally start the conversation with, I don't care about what other people say about you, I love you. And naturally I would be like, well, what do other people say about me that would even prompt this comment? And he would be like, oh, I shouldn't have said anything, don't even worry about it.
Oh my gosh, what's
And
wrong with
I would
him?
get quite upset and be like, well, someone is clearly saying something to you, why don't you just tell me what it is? And then in an absolute masterclass of gaslighting, he would get angry with me for being upset
Yep.
that he wouldn't tell me who was saying shitty things about me behind my back, and tell me that I was attacking him and proving them right. Them being no one, by the way, except him, of course. Full disclosure and possible overshare, this was not the first boyfriend of mine, but the first boyfriend with whom I had had sex. And
Okay.
after we had had sex, he gave me this whole speech about how the first person he had sex with cheated on him and how he was wrecked about it and he would never do that to anyone else. And this
Okay.
is a weird thing to share with somebody, like just unprompted. And so this man, I shit you not, didn't cheat on me once, not even twice, but 3 times.
At least,
Hello?
at least.
Spent
3 times that
3
you know
days
of.
convincing me to take him back, and
Oh
within
my
the
gosh,
first
what's
15
wrong with
minutes
these
of me
people?
stupidly saying yes, dumped me. I am good friends with every single one of my exes. I have great taste in men, but wow, Llewellyn, surname redacted, You're a piece of shit. I hope you find
Yes,
this.
you are.
What is a red flag that you should not have ignored about someone you were dating?
Okay, I know this might be just like a little thing, but I've
Okay, it's
experienced this on multiple occasions.
Okay.
So it's a little thing. But if a guy tells you in the beginning that he's an or he says
then
stuff
he is.
like, oh man, like I feel
I-
like you're a really nice person, like I'm really an ass. I don't know, or they'll say, don't let me get to you, I'm just being an ass.
No.
And I always convince myself that they're just being hard on themselves.
No,
Like
no,
that's
no,
what
they
I used
actually
to
are.
always tell myself. But no, they're literally outing themselves from the very beginning, and people that are usually have pathological narcissism out themselves pretty early and say stuff like that. And then later on when they hurt you, they might say
Oh,
stuff
but I
like,
told you.
well, I told you
Yep,
I'm an ass.
yep. See?
It's very common. So if anybody ever says that to you, run as fast as you possibly can. Never look back.
What is a red flag that you should not have ignored about someone you were dating?
He didn't tip at restaurants. And to those of you who don't know me, I'm a server. I'm a server. I mean, I wasn't a server at the time that I met him, but
What is a red flag
Yeah,
that you
that's
should
really
not have
bad and
ignored about
embarrassing.
someone you were dating?
All right, I let way too much colorist slide when I was young, and it's the perfect example of that. I had just started dating this Puerto Rican girl ethnically. She was white racially. She had previously hinted that her parents aren't cool with her dating black dudes, but that's her preference. I'm going out with my boy on a Friday night. She's like, slide through before you go out with your boys. I'm like, all right, cool. But he comes with me, he's driving, figuring, I'm not thinking about it, obviously. We get to her crib, she comes outside, sees it's the two of us, is like, nah, don't have him come in, just you. So initially, I'm just thinking like, okay, you don't want somebody else in your house. I wasn't thinking it was like racially motivated. I go inside for like 10 minutes because I'm not gonna leave my boy outside for long, and then we dip out. Later on the phone, she's like, why would you bring your friend here when I told you my parents aren't cool with black people like that? The whole time I'm like, I'm black. Oh, I'm racially ambiguous enough for you.
Gosh.
What is a red flag that you
Yeah,
should not have
like,
ignored about
don't
someone you were
even,
dating?
you shouldn't even have
Also, you
started
got
dating,
time.
honestly.
Okay. My ex was
That's
a
messed up.
master
That's messed up.
manipulator. He always
Sorry you have to
found
deal
a
with
way to turn
Sucks.
situations, conversations around back on me. If I would get a little bit bothered by something that he did, he'll turn it around and be like, well, no, the reason why I'm doing that is because of you. And you know what I did? I believed
Oh,
it.
no.
Pendeja.
No.
I believed it. I was like, oh, actually, maybe
No,
if
it's not
I
true.
change, it'll prevent him from doing that. No,
No,
no.
never.
Girls, if you're watching this, stand your fucking ground. Stand your ground and don't take from nobody. And pay attention to when people are gaslighting you. I learned my lesson.
Good she learned,
What
eh?
is a red
That's
flag that you should not have ignored about someone you were dating?
There's a guy I'd been seeing for about a month. We'd only had one official date, but we'd sort of had the odd lunchtime together because we worked in the same building. Sounds convenient, but is actually a narcissist playground. Anyway, a month in, I go away about 100 miles to go and dog sit for my sister for a week. While I'm away, he calls me and he tells me that he loves me. And I say that it's a bit too soon for me to know that, but we'll see how it goes and develops. He has a raging argument with me and asks me if I've thought about how that makes him feel. No! Anyway, he yells at me for not loving him back immediately.
Oh my goodness.
We spend 8 years together, married for 1, and every day was a narcissistic hellscape mental prison I was glad to escape from. And now I see women. Everybody loves a happy ending.
What is a red
Okay,
flag
she got
that
out.
you should
She
not
got
have
out.
ignored
That's
about someone you were
awful.
dating?
together
One
for
time,
8 years.
I had gone on a few dates with this guy, and we were talking about revenge. And he was like, yeah, it's terrible, but sometimes they deserve it. And I proceeded to date that man for 4 years.
I'm sorry, why?
He was not a nice
Why?
person. I generally try to be like kind and compassionate to my younger self.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be really cathartic to look back at your younger self and be like, sweetie,
You messed up.
honey,
What were you doing?
you were a
Yeah.
What is a red flag that you should
Oh my
not
gosh,
have
that's
ignored about
horrible.
someone you were dating?
Slim
This wasn't
pickings,
about somebody
eh?
I was dating, but it was about a friend of mine. If they put you in danger, they are not a good friend.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
means if they drive drunk with you in the car. That means if they pressure you to do drugs. If they abandon you with creepy
Yes,
dudes while you're passed out
this.
drunk. If they are fine with putting your life in
And they don't
danger,
care?
they are not
No,
a good
they're not.
friend.
What is a red
That's a good
flag
lesson.
that you
That's
should
actually a
not
really
have
good lesson to
ignored about
learn.
someone you were dating?
So we were supposed to go out to dinner, but he said he was going to be a little bit late because he had to stop at his mom's first. I was like, okay, that's cute. Except he stops at his mom's house after work every single day. And before work. And at lunch. Every
Is it
single
really
day.
his mom's? Or
I
is he
continued with this relationship
this much
for
of a
almost 10
mama's
years.
boy?
Like, most nights we didn't eat dinner until almost 8 p.m. because after work he had to stop at his mother's house. And there was never any telling how long that was going to take. She still did his laundry.
Oh my god.
I think she still does. And I am a single mom of 3 boys. I love to see a man who has a good relationship with his mother. But no. Stopping at your mom's house 3 times a day is not healthy behavior. That's codependency.
Even once per day is like, that's weird.
Back in 2004, when I was first dating my ex-husband, I had spent the night at his house for the first time, and he'd seen me naked for the first time. And when he did, he looked my body up and down and told me that I could do certain exercises to improve it, pointing out a particular part of my body specifically that he was unsatisfied with the way it looked. And because I had such low self-esteem and was convinced that I needed to be in a relationship, I needed to be married, I stayed with him, and he spent our entire marriage criticizing my body and cheating on me, and
no matter what you did,
verbally and emotionally and financially abusing me, and it was just a horrible situation. And it has taken me. We got divorced in 2009.
Thank goodness.
And it's something. Those comments are something that all these years later I am still working through in therapy.
Ridiculous.
And I remember the things that he said to me. Those are more painful than the times when he put his hands on me. So talk about ignoring
That's
a red
a true
flag.
thing.
I ignored
They say
a huge one.
Emotional
What
wounds
is
cut
a
deeper
red
than
flag
physical.
that you should not have ignored about someone you were
Ay,
dating?
ay, ay. Okay, one more
Well,
here.
this will be fun. I was once engaged to a guy that didn't want to share his music with me. This sounds really weird. He would have these playlists or these songs that I loved, and he would play them while we were in the car, but he wouldn't tell me the artist or the name of the song.
Why?
Because he didn't want me to defile the song with my knowledge about it.
What?
And
I'm so
I felt like
confused.
it was really weird, but being a middle child, sometimes I know that you get possessive over certain things and you can't
No,
help
that's
it
super
because
weird. You could just be Shazamming it in the
it's how
back.
you are. And so I didn't think much of it, but looking back on it,
Yeah, that's insane.
That's
Controlling-
insane. You should want to share everything with your
Controlling
person.
what music they know. But playing the music. The frick? Okay, that was super weird. Yeah, okay, these are really good red flags you should definitely avoid. We learned something here today, didn't we? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I have a new video coming out every day, all month, so go ahead and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll be back here tomorrow with a new video, okay? Bye!